Hey folks, this is Professor Joyce, and I'm going over problems from the midterm selected ones from last year, and hopefully it's going to be useful to you. So these are problems 1 through 4. If you have a copy of the test in front of you, I think that'll work. But let me go to the next slide. So here are the 4 problems. It's going to refer to the supply and demand diagram. We're going to ask you some questions from that. So the first one asks, if there's a price floor of $13 is imposed in this market, what's the likely effect? So let me go to the next slide. So we have price floor is $13. So here's $13 on the map here. And let's pull this over price floor. And we can put price floor. All right, and that's equal to $13. Please excuse my scribble here. And now you can see what's happened, right? So producers like this. They're going to increase the quantity supplied to 15 units. Let me make that clearer. Consumers don't like it. They're going to cut back consumption to 8 units right here, and you can see the obvious consequence is going to be a surplus, and the surplus is going to equal the 15 units supplied, the 8 units demanded, and it's going to give us a surplus of 7 units. You can see it. There's our surplus graphically, and there's the answer to the first one. It is a surplus. Let me go to the next slide. And the question we're asking here, refer to figure it again. It says, what's consumer surplus and equilibrium? So consumer surplus and equilibrium, let's make sure we get equilibrium right here. There's $11. This intercept is 17. We can draw this right down to here, and we'll see that this is 12 units. And so now we know that the consumer surplus is this area, this triangle right in here. So let's write that consumer surplus is equal to 1/2 times 17 minus 11 times the quantity, which is 12, and that's going to be equal to $36 if you do the math. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. And let me go to the next slide and the next question, which says 3. If there's a $7 per unit negative externality associated with the consumption of this good, what's the total surplus after the socially optimal tax is implemented? All right, so let's figure that out. So we know that the supply curve now is going to shift up by the per unit cost of the tax, or the externality in this case. That's going to take us up to 10, and we know it's going to intersect right here, and it's going to go right, like it's going to be parallel. So here is supply plus tax, all right, and this is the amount of the tax. It's going to be $7 here. We'll put $7, and now we know that here's the price paid by consumers, which is going to be 14. Here's the price received by suppliers, which is going to be $4, $5, $6, $7. All right. We know this intercept here is 3 units, and now we pretty much have the information that we need. And it says total surplus. So we can get consumer surplus is this area right here, and I'll change colors. We can get producer surplus, which is going to be the blue area right here, and we're going to put this as tax revenue. And the green is going to be tax revenue, okay? So let's go back. So it says consumer surplus in this particular case is going to be equal to 1/2 times 17 minus 14, right? Because that's 17. Sorry, that's 17. And the quantity now, we have to figure this out. This is going to be 6 units times 6. So consumer surplus is going to be $9. Producer surplus, the blue triangle, is going to be 1/2 times 7 minus 3 times 6 units, which is going to be equal to $12. If we add that up, we're going to get $21 in surplus to consumers and producers. We're not going to count the tax revenue right here, but let me answer the next question for you. So the next question says, how much tax revenue is generated by this? Well, the green, I think I've shown you, is this whole area right here. That's the tax revenue, and it's a nice rectangle. So we'll write tax revenue is going to be equal to 6 units that are purchased in this market times the $7 tax, and tax revenue is going to be $42. And there you have the answers to problems 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the midterm.